Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm about to do our very first market recap on the channel. Pretty much, I'm just going to be going over the S&P 500, looking at the levels that we're going to interact with this week, what I'm looking at this week, and the headlines that I think are important for this week. All right, so let's go ahead and dive down to the chart and take a look. All right, so right off the bat here, I'm going to move over to the weekly chart of the S&P 500. I'm going to just throw a pretty, quick some basic levels here, right? We got a pivot there, we got a downtrend line there. And then if we look real closely on the weekly, you guys are going to see a couple wicks right here, right? So this is the level that everyone's talking about right now. This is the 430 level. Now, an interesting little notice here is that the 200-day moving average, this downtrend line, and this is actually a triple top on the daily. It all lines up at 430. All right, so that's usually that gives it a little more weight. You know, the level's going to have a little more weight because not only is it going to have the traders and the investors that are watching just this level, but it's also going to have the algorithms and everything that are watching the 200 and the people that are watching this downtrend line all at the same time. So this is a very likely area for a turnaround if the turnaround happens. Okay, that's if the turnaround happens. So these are the levels I'm watching for the week. I'm going to be watching the 200-day at 431.84. I'm going to be watching this triple top here at 429.64. And if we do get a rejection off this level, I'm going to be looking for a pullback down to the 415.94 level, the 416 level. And then if we slide past that a little bit, I'm going to be looking right here where the 20-day and the 100-day kind of converge, right? And that's going to be at around the 410 level. So those are the levels. Now let's get into the news. All right, so this week, the biggest data that we got this week is going to be the Fed minutes, right? This week's going to be a tricky one. Everyone's going to be looking for clues in these minutes to determine more or less if the rate hikes are going to continue at the strength that they have been, if they're going to pull back a little bit and raise rates a little slower, like not a 0.75 or a 1%, but let's say like a 0.25 or a 0.5. That would be really bullish if that happened. Last time that the Fed head Powell spoke in an unscripted meeting, he said they might be able to pause or slow down the rate hikes based off of the CPI data they were seeing and the consumer data they were seeing. So those are going to be big deals, all right? And that's kind of what started off this whole bull run. When he said those things, we were here, right here. Okay. Now this is just a rough little triangle here, but maybe I should try to make it a little nicer. Kind of looked like this. All right, so this is where we were. We were bouncing around, and then all of a sudden he said something positive, and bam, we run up. We get a nice big old bull flag here, bouncing off the 20, runs up into the 100. We break through this 416 pivot. Boom, just extreme buying, right? But now we're coming up here. We're a little bit extended, I would say, from the 20 and the 100-day moving average. Right, we're really high up off the 5-minute 200, which is this little purple one here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if we come in tomorrow and the 4 a.m. traders have got this thing pushed up all the way against the 429 level to the 430, and we open up and we get a strong push all of a sudden, and then just a turnaround, right? Now that turnaround might not continue. It might just pull back, to do a little retest before continuing on. But again, we've got news this week. The market might even stay flat until we do hear a little bit more about the Fed and what they're gonna do. All right. So the next thing I got for you guys is that I don't use the Fibonacci retracement tool at all. I never use it. I can show you what people are talking about though, and what they're talking about is the 50% retracement. So that is going to be this purple line here, right? So this is the 50% retracement. So that's half of the move from the fall, right? So tracking from the very height of the last push that got to 480 all the way down to the 362.20 level, right? Well, 50% back up to that is going to be this this purple line here. I know the chart's getting kind of messy, but what they're noticing is the last time we came across it, we had a red candle, right? We went up, we opened above, and it just sold right back down, even though we had a nice little push and a sell down because that wick tells us that, right? Well, the following day, we actually had an open above and a close above, breaking past that wick. So this is going to be our very weak pivot, right? This is almost an intraday pivot. This red line here of 425. Okay, so I don't give much credence to this. As you see, like how it interacted with it previously. See how it kind of slid through it and then moved, and then we kind of had to work through it. Well, I like this pivot much better, right? Look at, we're working off these lows here, these highs here. This is just a clear pivot to me. So my levels that I'm working off are going to be this triple top and this pivot we got here. Again, 416 and 429.64 or 430. Okay. Now after that, a little explanation there. We've got, so there's going to be momentum, right? Momentum is going to be happening either up or down, and you got to watch out for this, all right? So if you're a long trader and you're going to go ahead and decide to buy in the morning because you just have a feeling you need to, don't panic if it comes flying down, okay? Don't just sell on the biggest red candle you see. Don't let it get to your emotions like that, all right? It's not worth it. It's never the right move, okay? Just take a breath, take a look at what's happening. You know, you most likely will get another chance to get out without taking such a huge hit. But I urge you, please do not buy through resistance, okay? Traders that make it in this business, right? They're not buying resistance. I'll tell you that much, okay? You sell resistance and you buy support. So there's really nowhere you could even buy this if you wanted to continue it until at least like the first spot is going to be where the VWAP leveled out and the high of 2 days ago was, right? So that's a pretty clear little intraday pivot. It got some really hard selling off of it. We pushed through it. We would at least need to come back to bounce up, right? In my opinion, I wouldn't buy anything going into resistance. That's just, you know, a loser's game in my opinion. Now on Tuesday, we're going to get Walmart's earnings, and then Deere is going to come out at the end of the week. So Deere is a really good one for industrials, right? Definitely gives a temperature on how the industrials are doing, and that's going to be a big deal. We're also going to have Walmart, okay? Walmart on Tuesday, that's going to be even bigger. That is all about the consumer, all about inflation, all about, you know, people just going out and spending, right? And Walmart is everywhere. It's a huge retailer. Everyone buys from Walmart. It's a really good gauge of what's going on in the economy. Now, they did already come out early and guided lower, so they've already said that they were most likely going to do worse than expected previously, so that should be priced in already, but there can always be a surprise. If the surprise is to the upside, that might be something to watch. I'm sure that it's going to move the market as well if the surprise is to the upside, so just keep an eye out on that. Now, we're also going to start getting 13F filings coming out Monday. Those are always good. So we're going to be hearing about all the hedge funds and who added what and who didn't, right? Sometimes that can be a very big driver of the market. We'll find out who took a stake in something. So I know George Soros took a stake in Uber and something else. I don't remember what the second one was, but he took a stake in Uber. I found that out on Friday. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal. These guys don't like to lose. They typically don't lose. So definitely keep an eye on that. And the last note I've got here is to keep an eye on the China and Taiwan situation. There's been another set of lawmakers that took a trip to Taiwan. We'll have to see if this turns into an escalated situation or if the headlines just kind of fade into tier 2, which is kind of where Ukraine is now. You know, we get a headline about Ukraine, nobody really cares, doesn't really affect anything. That very well could happen with the China-Taiwan situation, but we are currently doing things that are sort of poking the bear, so we got to see how this goes, all right? If the China-Taiwan situation does pop off, then I expect the market to definitely not tank, right, but stop this bull run and at least pause, okay? That's what I would expect. If we do reject this 430 level this week, then I expect a pullback down to about 416. If we continue from there, right, I'm looking here at the 100-day and the 20-day. And if we continue from there, I would say, I don't even know, 400s. It's kind of ballsy to say, right? But that would be about right around here, right? So those are my levels for the week. That's what I'm going to be watching. There's a little bit of a pocket that was created right here, so we could kind of just throw this in the middle there. But this is what I'm seeing. If we do break below that 20, it's kind of a clean pocket, man. This is a clean move. It could just fade right through. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. So that's my take. I hope you guys like this. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Definitely going to be doing it every week. This is just the very first one, so I'll get better at this. You guys hopefully will start reading my charts a little bit better. If you've got any questions, comments, concerns, whatever you want, throw them in the comments. I'll reply to everybody. You know, happy trading. Try to stay green, right? Stay disciplined. Don't panic. All right, have a good one. Peace.